Okay, good morning. We finished the number chapter last time. Now we're going to move on to the Algebra Unit 5 chapter. And the first subsection is on expanding two brackets. And the main aim of today is to be able to expand and simplify two brackets using a very specific method. Now before I begin, I need to remind you how to expand one bracket. So for example, that would be expanding one bracket, and the rule is there's a multiplication sign between the 3 and the bracket, and that means you times everything inside the bracket by 3. So you do 3 times x plus 3 times 7, and most people do those workings in their head and simplify it to 3x plus 21. And you can make this even more general. So if I had a brackets b plus c, there's a multiplication sign between the number on the outside and the bracket. That means you times everything inside the bracket by a to get a times b plus a times c, or if you prefer ab plus AC. And now what we're going to aim to do today is go from this single bracket expansion to a double bracket expansion. So consider the following: a plus b brackets c plus d. Now the A, B, C and the D could be numbers, could be algebra, could be anything. But the key thing to remind yourself is the operation between the brackets is still multiplication. But there's now two things on the outside, an A and a B. So we take the first thing and times it by the entire bracket. And then we take the second number and times it by the entire bracket. And we end up with this: a, first thing, times the entire bracket, b, second thing, times by the entire bracket. And that's pretty much the main step for this. Okay, you could write that a little bit simpler: a brackets c plus d plus b brackets c plus d. First number times the second bracket, second number times the second bracket, and then we've got two single brackets which we can do the same as above. The fancy word for this is called the law of distributivity. Which is a fancy way of saying expanding the brackets. Okay, let's see an example. E.g. number 1. Expand and simplify. Let's do x plus 2 brackets x plus 3. Okay, remind yourself, multiplication. Everything in the first bracket, you've got to times it by the second bracket. So x times the second bracket and the second number times the second bracket as well. So you've got plus 2 times the second bracket. That's the first line of workings. And now you expand these two things separately, just like what we were doing above. X times x, shortest way you can write that is x squared. X times 3, shortest way you can write that is 3x. That's half of it done. Now you've got a positive 2 times x, Shortest way you can write that is plus 2. And a positive 2 times 3, shortest way you can write that is 6. So this is the expand part done. However, this expression does simplify. There are like terms. We've got a 3x and a 2x, and the shortest way to write that is x squared plus 5x. Now you might remember the name of this type of expression from a previous chapter. This is called a quadratic expression when you've got an x squared, but we don't need to know that yet. Okay, e number 2. Make it a little bit more complicated. Expand and simplify. Let's go for x plus 3. Now let's do x minus 3 squared. X minus 3 squared. Now, at first glance, this doesn't look like two brackets. It's a bracket squared. However, if you think about how you square a number, you times it by itself. So this is, in effect, asking you to do x minus 3 brackets x minus 3. And now that looks like e.g. number 1. So it's a time sign. And then this is equal to every number in the first bracket times by the second bracket. So x times x minus 3. Minus 3 times x minus 3. It's really important that you take the sign in front. It was a plus 2 above, now it's a minus 3 below. And now all of you should be able to do these single brackets. The first one, x times x, shortest way to write that, x squared. X times negative 3, shortest way to write that, negative 3x. Negative 3 times x, shortest way to write that is negative 3x. And negative 3 times negative 3, shortest way to write that is negative 9. And again, that's the expand part done. All you need to do now is simplify your answer. So x squared subtract 6x subtract 9. Because negative 3 subtract 3 gets you down to negative 6. Now, in a future lesson, you'll be taught a shortcut to go from the expansion at the start to the final answer. You can generate the 5 and the 6 from the expansion, and you can also, I made a mistake, just spotted it, that's a plus 9, which makes that a plus 9. Negative 3 times negative 3 is a plus 9. Okay, sorry about that. But yeah, as I was saying, you'll find out a way to go from the brackets at the start to the final answer in one step, and it also works for this one as well, but we'll see that in a future lesson. Now, something where there's no shortcut is e.g. number 3. Expand again and simplify. Two x plus 3 brackets 3x subtract 5. Now this is a lot more complicated, and there's no shortcut to do this, unlike the previous two, but the method is exactly the same. Multiplication. Every number in the first bracket, you're going to times it by the second bracket. So this is the same as 2x times the second bracket, and then plus 3 times the second bracket. And now these are a little bit more straightforward. Okay. 2x times 3x. What's the shortest way to write that? That would be 6x squared. 2x times negative 5 would be the shortest way to write that. Negative 10x. 3 times 3x, shortest way to write that would be 9x. And finally 3 times negative 5. Now, don't have to do all of this in my head, just in case I make a mistake like before. So you could use your calculator. 3 times negative 5, and it does it for you. Okay, so no excuses. Negative 15. That's the expand part done. Simplifying, we've got two like terms in the middle. Negative 10 plus 9 gives you negative 1, or if you prefer, just minus x, minus 15. Leave it like that. You could put the 1 in. They both mean exactly the same. Now, my exam tip, based on what I've just done wrong, is use your calculator to help you expand the single brackets and that's especially important when you've got negative numbers. Okay, so for example, if I was doing, say, this negative 10x step, I was doing 2x times negative 5. I just want to quickly do on my calculator 2 times negative 5, which gives me negative 10. Negative 10x, as expected. Okay, that's pretty much it. So the questions I want you to do today are from the textbook, exercise 1, which is on page 313. And let's see. Okay, it's actually good practice to do a lot of these. So we will go for page 313, exercise 1. And okay, let's do questions. Actually, just do all the questions. And for now, at a minimum, you're going to do questions 1 to 10. And then questions 11, 12, and 13 can be if you've still got time left over. But yeah, minimum questions 1 to 10. If you have any questions about any of these, post it on the Teams chat and I'll get back to you.